Hi there, folks. Something a little out of the ordinary for me. I thought I'd do a review of this little camping stove. And this is an inexpensive camp stove you can buy. A few places online have them. They're made in China. They're called an ALOCS. And I believe they are kind of a copy of a Trangia stove. Anyway, this was pretty inexpensive. It was about 17 bucks delivered all the way from Asia. And it took about a month to get here. The shipping was free, so a person can't really complain with the shipping price. Anyway, fairly simple little stove. Comes in a very basic box. We've got a little bag here that it comes in. And I bought this mostly to have it in my car. I've got a canteen in my car with a canteen cup, and I thought it'd be kind of nice to have a little stove. Something simple and light to go with it if I wanted to heat something up while I'm out and about. If I'm out at the range, I'd have something to make a cup of coffee or tea or something with. So I don't have big plans for this, but I just thought it was might be worthwhile to try considering the low price. So we've got a burner stand here, and this is an anodized aluminum item, I believe. Actually not that bad looking, and it holds the stove, and you can put a pot or something like that on top of it. And this is the burner, and it comes in a plastic bag. And the burner itself has a sort of a snuffer on the top of it. I believe that also acts as a flame controller as well. The burner is kind of your standard style of alcohol burner. Really nothing going on here. There's no moving parts. There's basically just a reservoir for some alcohol, and there's a chamber between these two sides for the alcohol to go in, and as the heat builds up, it vaporizes the alcohol and the flame comes out around these small holes. We've got a cover on the top with a gasket, so you should be able to carry this with alcohol in it sealed up. And like I said, we've got our snuffer, which you can use to put the flame out, and also I believe you can control the flame to some degree with this movable plate. Anyway, I'm going to go get some fuel, and we'll fuel this thing up and see how it works. Alright, time to fuel this thing up. I'm going to use some methyl hydrate. I guess the preferred fuel is ethyl alcohol, but this was available at the hardware store, so we're going to go with that. It's a pretty well sealed up container here, so you can get this thing open. And I'm not exactly sure how much to use, but we'll just put a moderate amount in here. You can always pour it back out after the stove cools off. I probably put about a quarter of an inch in the bottom of that, perhaps. And let's see, we need some source of ignition here. And I was pleased to be able to find some strike anywhere matches. Those are kind of hard to come by nowadays. This is probably too damp out here to strike them on the... we'll just use the striker in the box. Alright, that is actually burning. It's really hard to see, but there is a flame. I probably should have put this in the burner holder before I did that, but anyway, we'll put it in after the fact. So there's how the pot stand works. Yeah, there's a pretty good amount of heat coming off that already. And I've got a canteen cup which has about 1 mug full of water in it. And we'll park that on top. And we'll see how long it takes to get that hot enough to make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with it. It's probably not the best shape of pot stand for that shape of a cup, really. It's actually meant for something considerably bigger. Anyway, it'll work. It might be a little bit less than ideally stable, but we'll see how it does. Change the angle of the camera a little bit there to hopefully let you see the burner a little bit better. See the flame of the burner, and it's burning along there pretty decent. I might take this inside later on and set it up in a place where there's a little bit less background light, and that might let the flame show a little bit better. I want to say I'm kind of impressed with the amount of flame that's coming out of that small burner. I didn't think there'd be quite that much activity, but it's really moving along there pretty good. And this is outside. There's a little bit of breeze here today, so some of the flame is being blown around a bit by the breeze, but it's doing pretty good. It's only a couple of minutes and there's steam coming off the water already. Well, I haven't been timing this, but it's probably 3 or 4 minutes later, and it looks like we've got water that's probably hot enough to make a beverage with, so I'll throw a tea bag in there for the time being, see how that does. I'd say that's just about close to the boiling point. There's certainly quite a bit of steam coming off it. Well, it looks like my tea is far enough along to be good to go, so let's try this burner regulator here. We'll see how this thing does. We have a pretty vigorous flame going on here, and we'll have to adjust this a bit to see if this thing works. I guess in order to really know whether that regulator would work well, you'd have to actually do some cooking with it. I don't really plan to do a whole lot of actual cooking per se. This is more of a thing to heat up some hot water for me, but I can see how the whole concept works. Basically, you're just choking off part of the flame. So not probably the most precise way to regulate heat, but it certainly does change the amount of heat or flame that you have from your full-on flame to adjust it down quite a bit. And if you want to use it for a snuffer, you just close it over completely. Of course, it does get rather hot. And we'll just use it for a snuffer. Yep, puts the flame out pretty well. And it looks like my tea's ready to go. So we'll let this cool off a bit before we take the snuffer off, and when it's cool enough, then we can put this back on. We've got that gasket on there, so obviously we don't want to have a whole lot of heat still left on the burner when we go to put that gasket back on top. Being lightweight, this thing cools off. That's already cool to the touch. There's not a whole lot of weight to this thing. It is pretty lightweight. I guess that's the whole idea. Pretty much used up all the alcohol that's in there. There's really no particular amounts of alcohol left. There's a few drops left, but pretty well used it up to the last. And fold that back up. And we'll put it back in the carrying case, since it's cool enough now to handle. Figured some folks might like to see how much this stuff weighs, so I just took out this little simple kitchen scale and the stove in its carrying case here. We'll throw it on the scale, and let's see, we're just under the 200 gram mark, so it looks like what's that, about 6 ounces, a little better than 6 ounces. The burner itself is just about 100 grams. so a little less than 4 ounces. If I can get the stove out of the carrying case here. There we go. The stand weighs about 50 grams, or a little less than 2 ounces. Ooh, the wind's picking up. And together the stove and the stand are about 150 grams, thereabouts. So, fairly lightweight. I'm sure there are lighter things on the market. It really doesn't matter for my purposes. If this is the ultra lightweight or not, it's light enough for any conceivable use that I'd have. Anyway, I guess in conclusion, I'd say that this seems like a reasonable quality item for a low price, and it may suit your needs if your needs are similar to mine. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later.